There's an epidemic plaguing our city apart from drugs or crime, and city officials are trying their best to keep up. We're talking about abandoned vehicles. As MTN's Andrea Lutz reports, this seemingly small issue is actually costing Billings residents money in both lost assets and property values.
In 2020 alone, some 1,900 abandoned vehicles were reported to the city of Billings. So when that happens, one of these orange stickers is slapped onto the window, and this sends off an entire chain reaction when the city needs to get rid of it. Here at the county junkyard.
These are the ones that were just brought in last week. Windows are broke out, it's got graffiti and no motor, totally burned up.
Each of these vehicles carries its own story.
We hear a lot of stories. They're usually vehicles that people either quit driving them because they don't run anymore, or people leave the state for several months and it broke down, they quit driving it, so it was just left on the street for several months.
Mike Skino has heard plenty of them. After a career in law enforcement with Yellowstone County as a deputy, he now works as the director of the junk vehicle program.
I mean, if you drive around the city and the county, you see junk vehicles all over the place, so I do believe it's a problem.
A problem that over the years has grown in Billings. In the span of 4 years, reports for junk cars increased over 16%, except for during the pandemic when the numbers were down. Those with Billings police say this creates a bigger problem.
It's an eyesore. It doesn't look good in our community, and honestly, if you get a stack of these vehicles in one neighborhood, it can actually make your property value go down.
Sergeant Nathan West says each week the crime prevention unit gets as many as 30 calls for junk cars. Volunteers tag them, then each Wednesday tow truck drivers round them up and bring them here to the county junkyard, where Mike takes it from there.
We hold these vehicles for at least 30 days. A lot of times we hold them even longer if we think there's a chance somebody might recover them.
And if that doesn't happen, these abandoned vehicles are recycled for as much as $250 a piece. That's money that whoever owns these cars is missing out on.
Huge problem.
Maybe some people that don't belong in a neighborhood, criminals, are coming into the neighborhood and they see a vehicle with a broken window or maybe some graffiti on it. Well, I have access to this vehicle, I can break into this vehicle, maybe I can break into other vehicles, and if I can break into other vehicles, I can break into homes.
But whatever the reason for leaving a vehicle and never coming back for it,
I think when they're parked in the streets, people break into them too. I know they do.
Mike says the issue of junk cars scattered around our city is a problem.
You don't want to have to look at that out in the street in front of your house, you know.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Well, those with the Crime Prevention Center say they want people to report junk cars, even if it takes volunteers a few weeks to get them tagged. The program to remove junk vehicles essentially pays for itself, with recycling proceeds going back into a state fund that pays to remove them. Every Montanan also pays a junk vehicle tax when they go to register their automobile.